What's going on? It is Coach AJ Lou. I'm here in Puerto Vallarta. I'm gonna do a quick video, but it was easier. I wanted to try out live. I haven't done any YouTube lives in a long time, and I want to try out a live and just answer a question that I got on Instagram the other day. So if you're watching for the first time, I lived in Medellin for not the last 6 months, but for 6 months this year, 2022. Left just a couple weeks ago. I'm now here in Puerto Vallarta in my little hotel room, Airbnb deal. And so someone reached out to me the other day and he was asking, hey, where should I stay? Should I stay in Laureles or should I stay in Poblado? So I'm going to give you the benefits of each of those so you can kind of decide for yourself. So first and foremost, I lived in Laureles. When I was doing my research, I decided that, hey, I want to be in a place where, yes, there are other Americans, but not where it's like, I don't want to feel like I'm in San Diego or in, wherever, somewhere in the States. I wanted to have more of an authentic experience. And I also wanted to walk. I like walking. I enjoy getting out and walking around. And so a couple things about Laureles. Laureles is big. It's a really big area. You got the stadium, estadio area. You got La Cententa. It goes further south. Basically, in Medellin, the further south you go, the more money. The further north you go, the less money, right? So you keep going north, you end up, way up in the barrios, up in the up on the hills. You go south, that's where Poblado, that's where Envigado, that's Sabaneta, that's where some of the nicer areas are in town. So that's the first thing you got to know is north-south. Laureles has some benefits, but it's not for everyone. So number one, Laureles, very walkable. You don't have all the hills like you have in Poblado, so you can walk around. Pretty much everything is flat. There's some nice areas. You got the stadium right there. So if you like going and working out, if you want to, go work out outside, there's a bunch of different outdoor parks that you can go and do your, they have weights. They have places where you can do push-ups, sit-ups, all that kind of stuff. They actually have barbells, dumbbells, all those kind of things. And then also Medellin kind of is a neighboring neighborhood of Laureles. And Medellin Park is badass. They got a full-ass track. They got basketball courts. They got, pretty much everything. So if you like outdoors, if you like being able to go to a park, work out, if you want to be around other Americans, but you don't want like every other person to be American, Laureles is a good spot for you. Now, there's some trade-offs, right? Laureles, it's further away from, now La Cententa is dope. 33rd, there's some cool stuff on 33rd Street. But then you're a little bit further away from everything that's happening in Poblado. You're super far from Envigado. And traffic in Medellin gets really bad, especially, rush hour, like after 4 o'clock, between 4 and 6, 7 o'clock. It can take you 40 minutes, an hour. I've even been in a car for an hour and a half going just from Laureles to Poblado. Now, if you go from Laureles to Poblado when there's no traffic, it might take you 20 minutes. I've had Uber drivers. It's faster to go from Poblado to Laureles than it is from Laureles to Poblado, because you can kind of take a different way from Poblado to Laureles. But either way, you're away from all the party stuff, right? So you can go hang out on La Cententa. You can hang out in some other places. Now, there's cool spots everywhere, but Poblado is where like most of the action is at. So if you want to be like right in the mix, if you want to have walk outside and there's a ton of restaurants, you got more shops, you got the malls, you got all those kind of things, the nicer malls, then I would say stay in Poblado. Poblado has a lot of great restaurants. Poblado has a lot of, clubs, nightlife, all that stuff is right there, kind of near Provenza. So there's an area called Provenza, which is up north, down south. And it's basically a street. If you look up the restaurant Gato is a restaurant that's kind of in the middle. And right there, if you go there on a Friday, Saturday night, bunch of clubs, bunch of places to go, bunch of things to do. You got places north of there, south of there. Basically, there's a street called Calle 10, Street 10. And if you're walking up or down Street 10, Calle 10, that's basically where all the craziness, all the action happens in Poblado. So if you want to go out, hit the clubs, you want to do that whole thing, you want to dance, reggaeton, all this kind of stuff, then that's a good place for you to go. There's a ton of that on La Cententa, and there's some of that in other areas of Laureles, but the main hub for that is all in Poblado. Let's talk about some other categories. If you want to meet like normal girls, then you want to go to Laureles, at some of the clubs over there, at some of the bars and stuff like that. You're more likely to see a group of like 5 girls with 2 guys, and they're just friends. They're just sitting there hanging out, drinking. They'll have a bottle of rum or a bottle of aguardiente, and they're just chilling. So it's more like local, normal. Obviously there's a lot of us, a lot of gringos that go stay in Laureles, but on a comparison basis, significantly less gringos in Laureles than Poblado. Poblado, you walk down the street at any given time and you see all kinds of tourists. You see people from Germany, from the US, from everywhere. Laureles on La Cententa, you'll see that, but you get further out, you don't see as much of it. You start heading towards Medellin, you start heading towards the stadium even, you're gonna see mainly local people. Poblado is the opposite. Poblado, you're going to see mostly people from, not mostly, obviously it's still Colombia, it's still Medellin, so you're going to see a lot of locals still, but it's much more infiltrated, I guess you could say, with people from other states. So that's all your preference, you know what I mean? It just depends on what you're looking to do, on what you're looking for. The other thing about Poblado is it's not very walkable. Like, it's hills everywhere, so it's nice. You got some super nice high-rise apartments. You got beautiful malls, like Santa Fe Mall is super dope, El Tesoro Mall is super dope, but at the same time, everything is hilly. So you're gonna be walking, you're gonna be sweating. So it's not like a nice stroll. I got a lot of buddies that are older, 60s, 50s, 70s, and they have no problem walking around Laureles. If we were to go over to Poblado and try to go from, say, Santa Fe Mall up to Patrick's Irish Pub, my good buddy is probably going to tap out about a quarter of the way from the mall to the bar. So things like that you want to take into consideration. If you're strictly looking to go meet girls, then stay in Poblado. It's probably much easier. There's many more of them that hang out there. If you're looking to kind of have like more of a local experience, go to like language exchanges, meet some people, etc., then I would prefer Laureles. Personally, I liked Laureles better. I spent some time in Poblado, hung out with friends, got friends that live there, but I just like Laureles better for me. But it's all about your preference. It's all about what you want. The one other thing that I will say is that no doubt Poblado is a little bit more expensive, you know what I mean? So even like meals, drinks, your apartment, all that stuff is going to be anywhere from, say, 20% to 40% more expensive in Poblado than it is in Laureles, just because of the number of foreigners that are there. So you might, like, I can go get a cool, full meal for, say, 25,000, 30,000 pesos somewhere in Laureles. That same meal might cost me 50, 60,000 pesos over in Poblado. Or even a beer, like I can get a beer for 5,000 pesos in Laureles, and that's going to cost me 10, 12, 14,000 pesos over in Poblado. So it's all preference, man. So honestly, if I was just going to give you complete honest, open opinion, I would say if you're going for a few days, stay in Poblado your first time. It's easier. You're going to have everything right there. It's going to be smooth. If you're going for a longer period of time, maybe start in Poblado and then go to Laureles, and then you can kind of compare the two and see which one you like best. But yeah, first time out there, very short trip, stay in Poblado. Extended trip, longer trip, or you just want to be away from all that, you got Laureles. So the other area that's nice is Medellin. Don't sleep on Medellin. It's like a neighboring neighborhood of Laureles. I got a buddy that got a badass penthouse there. I forgot what he paid for it, but he has a badass penthouse, overlooks the city, and he ballin', super nice area. You got all kinds of shops, you got restaurants, you got a little square where he can take his dogs and walks. People sit out there and drink and hang out. So Medellin is cool too. It's close, especially if you're in Medellin, close to Laureles. It's cool. You start getting further in, it can get a little more sketchy. You know, we got to stay safe when we're out there. You all know the dangers that come along with Medellin. I felt safe most of the time, but you always got to keep your eyes open. You got to watch for two people on a car or on a motorcycle. Obviously, you got to watch out for your drinks, the girls, etc. But there's a lot of good people out there, man. Don't let all the news make you think like 90% of people are bad. No, it's like, you know, say 10% are doing crazy stuff. You know, the same people keep running into those 10% because those 10% are running traps to try to get them. You know what I mean? So, yeah, don't be scared. Have a good time. But yeah, Poblado short term, Laureles, I would check it out if you're doing more than a week, more than 2 weeks. I would try to stay in both, or at least go hang out in both. See which one you like best, man. So, hope you got some value. I got to hit the gym. I'll do more of these lives as people ask questions. I'll continue to jump on and just do a live. It's a little easier. I don't have to edit the video. So with that, appreciate you watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.